Rule number 3 for categorical syllogisms is this. You can't have two negative premises. Two negative premises are not allowed. So take a look at this argument. No dogs are cats. Some birds are not dogs, therefore some birds are not cats. We begin by marking all of our distributed terms and then apply the rules in order. The rule number 1 says the middle term has to be distributed at least once. Here the middle term is dogs, and it's distributed twice. So this argument adheres to rule number 1. Rule number 2 says if there's a term distributed in the conclusion, and there is, has to also be distributed when it appears in a premise, and it does. So we've passed through rules number 1 and 2. But our first premise is an E statement, and our second premise is an O statement, and those are both negative statements. So we say this rule, this argument, even though it adheres to rules number 1 and 2, it does not adhere to rule number 3, and it is invalid. Same thing with this argument. No college students are space aliens, no space aliens are infants, therefore no infants are college students. We've got a bazillion distributed terms here. Rule number 1 says that our middle term, space aliens, has to be distributed at least once. It is. It also says that any terms distributed in the conclusion, like infants, have to also be distributed when they appear in premises. Same thing goes for students. So again, we have an argument that passes right through rules number 1 and 2, but hits a roadblock with rule number 3 because we have premises that are both E statements, and two negative premises are not allowed. One way to think about this is that negative statements come in pairs, okay? And the pair is going to be one premise statement and one conclusion statement. So every single valid categorical syllogism is always going to have at least one affirmative statement, at least one statement that's either an A statement or an I statement. If it doesn't, if it has two negative premises, then that argument commits the fallacy called exclusive premises. And that proves the argument invalid.